everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report. Brent joins us, and Sam and Brent, a most unusual Friday evening.
Just a little wet.
A little wet, a little bit of this.
A lot of standing around for a while.
Yes.
Hurry up and wait, just like the military. But,
So, in football, you do not play when it lightnings.
Well, anytime we're outside, if it lightnings or thunder, the rule is automatically 30-minute delay. So, and then once we get the first time we got it down, when we first started running it, we got it down to 25 minutes, and then
Then
here comes the next
another
bolt of
one.
lightning or thunder. And at one time we got it down to 10 minutes, and then it hit again. So, thankfully we were able to get in, and I had talked to Danny, the AD at Franklin County, and they were willing to stay as long as we need to get the game in.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us wanted to get in Friday night. We didn't want to have to come back on
Sure.
Saturday. It makes it hard on the kids and everybody else. So.
hard to get your officials back and your.
Especially if they're
Reed
doing
Health
anything
Sports
besides high
Medicine
school
provides an
games
athletic.
and what they might have, or they may have a Saturday afternoon game with somebody that's so. You just never know if you get everybody back that's there, and what do you do with tickets and the concessions and everything
concession
else you do.
workers and all your other.
So it's easier if you can get it in. And looking at the radar, I thought after we got that first wave through, we were going to be okay. And then, of course, somebody said, no, we're going to get more coming. And thank goodness we didn't get any more coming. So field did pretty good. It held up fairly well for the amount of rain we got in a short period of time. And hopefully be ready and prepared. And I'll have a good to go for Friday night this week.
Pretty amazing when you're in the press box and it's raining so hard you can't see the bleachers on the other side of the field. But,
And I was sideways a couple of times when I
Yeah.
looked out there. So
What was the length of the delay in total?
I don't have a clue. I just kept hitting the reset button.
under 90 minutes, but not
How
too
much?
much. Just under 90 minutes, as I recall.
I remember the one year, I think we started with Muncie South probably 9:30 or quarter to 10 at night before we really got going. So
Well, a couple of years ago, we were down at Franklin County the same weekend, and we had at least that long. Seems like, did we start and stop and start again? I don't remember.
yeah, I
for sure.
remember sitting in the concession area that they were just still constructing on the visitor side, tried to stay out of the rain. And then that one year we drove all the way to Jay County, had to turn around and come back
Went
home, and
back.
went right back up on Saturday.
Yeah,
So
that was one.
that's not good for the kids either. So
Yeah, that's quite a while ago we did that.
yeah.
Rodney and I went up and did the Friday night, and then Larry Myers and I went and did the Saturday.
Probably a lot of anything. We went to Providence and played with a half a bank of lights out.
Yeah,
in the south.
you went with Brett one
I
night
was
and,
down there with Brett that night. So
and stayed forever.
yep. And one of the ends went out, so they contemplated playing to midfield and turn around and go back the other direction, but they didn't do that.
Once the game resumed, it was not a very good game for the Spartans.
No, a little rough for us, and we got some kids hurt, and some of our key kids are out, and we just got to get some linemen and bigger and stronger and faster, and kids are out there are doing their best and trying as hard as they can, and they all go out there with the idea to win, and let's face it, in the big scheme of things, Franklin County is
Sure.
a big sport in the fall, is football, and and they've had a good tradition, so hopefully we'll get there and eventually be able to do those things.
Franklin County has a good team.
Yeah, they went quite a far last year. I mean, talking to some of them, they thought they'd get past Lawrenceburg in the sectional last year, and obviously that didn't happen. But returned quite a few kids, and it's kind of been football's kind of been their passion since I've been here for the last 30-some years. So
They love coming to Connersville and winning, which probably.
Well, we don't want anybody to do that.
No, we don't. But the point I'm trying to make, probably, Connersville, they circle that. That's one that they.
well, I
they
think
love
so.
to-
And then I think, unfortunately for us, we were COVIDed out last year, and I think they took that as we were just trying to dodge people, and we just didn't have the bodies to put on the field last year at all during this weekend. So it was unfortunate. So
Here's a clip from the ball game from TV3 as we started to telecast the game as getting underway, but things happened.
Had a nice crowd on hand and started the game.
Sure.
Everybody was excited.
Team looked
yeah, it was nice to see people in the stands, and unfortunately the rain came at the wrong time, and we were all in. And,
Although it's interesting, you look at the Franklin County crowd across the way there. I didn't think they brought very many. The week before when we were at Richmond, we about had their visitor side full.
Had a good student crowd, and they spread out. Unfortunately, for some of us, some of our kids that we need to play are injured right now and can't get out on the field, and that puts other kids in spots that they're not ready to be in at this time, and that hurts a little bit.
Seems like we have a lot of that throughout the years, that kids that aren't quite ready yet. But you got to go with what you have. There's first touchdown, and then lightning started, and everybody had to vacate. So during that time, Franklin County fans went over into the dugout for the baseball. Was that what I saw? Or
there were a few over in the dugout, so under roof, I guess.
Under roof, and then the
football team went into the high school, and
okay, and our kids go into our locker room.
And our kids are in our locker room, so
and
there were a few in the bathroom.
Fans go sit in the cars.
Most of them, yeah, except for the few that stayed in the boys and girls bathroom during those 90 minutes. So. Not sure that's where I'd want to be for 90 minutes, but there were quite a few in there, so mostly kids.
In the bathroom, a little bit of remodeling in there. I went in there, and the big round sink's gone. It's been there
they
since
updated this summer.
1970.
Repainted the floor and the walls, and took out the little round step-on sprayer and put some regular sinks.
Yeah.
Things in there, so it looks a lot better and cleaner. And it needed it.
It did.
So.
It did.
This week, go on the road. South Dearborn.
Football? We're at home Friday night with Scottsburg.
Oh, Scottsburg, I was thinking we went on the road. I must have got a hold of that schedule.
That's next week. So.
Okay, South
Well, we're supposed to be at home with Greensburg, but Greensburg's on 2-week shutdown. So it's been an interesting 3 or 4 days.
Changing the schedule already.
Yeah, Southmont was looking for a game, and of course they're over by Crawfordsville, and then Jamie at Scottsburg emailed and said, hey, we're willing to travel. We were supposed to go to Salem, and Salem shut down on them. So I said, well, let me know for sure. And then late Friday night, he said, hey, it's for sure, because if Carroll County of Kentucky couldn't play Madison, Madison was going to go play Scottsburg. So Carroll County could play, so that worked out great for us. And then Saturday morning, I had a call from Russ Ratke at Knox High School and said, hey, my place or your place Saturday, I need a game. So I told him I'd already inked Scottsburg in. So. And then today I got a call from Tri-High because they lost their opponent for Friday. So there's people out there searching for games, and everybody's kind of in the same boat. And hopefully we won't get there.
At least you were able to get it changed quickly so that Coach Jackson can prepare, not have to wait till later in the week to prepare for a team that he doesn't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure with Huddle, they were all exchanging tapes over the weekend. The only difference between this Friday and last Friday, we're going to start at 7:30 instead of 7. Just to give them a little extra half hour to get there. You know, they're probably 20 minutes north of Louisville, so they're going to make a nice little jaunt. I don't know if it's exit 20 or 30, whichever one it is down there.
I think it's exit 20.
But, so they're 30 miles south of Seymour, so they're the Seymour's at 50 in there. So
I'm still waiting for someone to explain the science to me with Greensburg. Greensburg played Friday night, but they're canceled this coming week and the week after due to COVID. Makes absolutely no sense to me.
It wasn't due to COVID. They were trying to get through the week. They have enough people traced out of school they can't staff their classrooms. So a lot of teachers are out. So they were just trying to. It wasn't they had a lot of cases. They just didn't have the people based on the rules they're living by to keep their classes.
And everybody has different rules.
Every county seems to have a different rule because it's left up each place. And so they were just trying to get through this week and then shut down for 2 weeks. And I'm sure they're doing all virtual, but they're not coming back to do sports for 2 weeks. So. It hurts football. It hurts. We were supposed to play them in volleyball. We were supposed to play them in tennis. So now we're trying to find places to put those so we can make those conference games back up.
Football you can't make up. That's
unfortunate football unless down the road somebody happens to cancel on us the same week they cancel on them, and maybe we can pick them back up. But you just don't know. And we'll see. Scottsburg's 2-0 right now, and they were 3-7 last year. So we'll see what they bring in. They got about 45 kids on their roster, and comparable to what we have, typically. So. Hopefully we'll get everybody back healthy and then back in the flock and see if we can get a win on Friday.
Scottsburg Warriors.
Scottsburg Warriors.
What did this do to the conference schools?
Well, Greensburg's in the small division, so that won't affect us.
Okay.
We still have East Central and South Dearborn to go, so that'll change whatever happens on the other one. And it's just for the girls. You take girls golf for Greensburg. Our conference is September 11th, and I'm not sure they'll be back by September the 11th. So what we'll do to the golf thing for their girls, they may not get to compete in the conference. So.
Is there when there are postponements or cancellations such as that, and teams are are out, no matter what the sport, for a couple weeks, do they have to have so many practices before they can go back to actual play? Or
Just depends on how many. It used to be if you missed so many days of practices, you had to make up. So if you missed 5 to 10, you had to make up 4 practices. If you miss more than 10, you have to make up 6. Well, the rules have changed, so now it's just a day. So if you miss 8 to 14 days, you make up 4 practices. If you miss 15 days or plus, you make up 6. So it just depends on how many days they're out. So if, I'll just take Franklin County next week. They're not shutting everything down, so they're going to practice. But if they didn't, they're only going to miss 6 days, 5 days. So they're not going to get to that 8-day window. So just depends.
it's complicated. Life has gotten complicated.
It does, and today's the beginning of limited contact season for all the winter sports and spring sports, so they can start doing things in the gym and on the diamonds, and so everybody can be full go for the next 4 or 5 weeks. So
Everyone is hoping for a quiet season, weren't they? But not to be.
You would think about June and July we were going to have that. Of course, last June and July we didn't think we were going to have anything, and we made it through the whole year.
Yes.
So hopefully this is just a little blip on the radar.
Hope so.
We get past it all real quick.
It's been a problem, and I feel for you guys that are trying to
Well, it's
schedule.
no fun because we joke now that we don't want that phone call from that AD at 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon or Thursday night when you got a game with somebody, and it's like, ooh, because I called somebody the other day and he goes, oh, this isn't going to be good. And I said, no, I just got a question. So you see that it's the AD from the school you're getting ready to play, and they're like, ah. I just had to ask them. So like today, I called Richmond to make sure we're playing golf because it's raining. I don't know. And middle school tennis is going to Blue River, and he says they don't have any rain yet. So they were still dry as of 3 o'clock.
So have you had any problems with due to the pandemic with getting officials?
We've lost a few, I think, throughout the state just because maybe the age of some of them, they're just not very comfortable with their health, so they haven't come back. So we rescheduled the Anderson volleyball game, which they didn't have enough girls early because of quarantine issues. And I finally got 2 officials today for next Monday or next Tuesday. It's been about 40 invites, probably 40 invites. Finally got a couple to hit. So haven't used them before. We'll see how good they are when they get here. But you got to find some so that you can have your kids and the girls get their games in. And the volleyball team's doing well, so you don't want to lose games. They won another conference match this weekend against Batesville, so
good for them.
Beat them in 3 games, and so go to Newcastle tomorrow night and Union County on Wednesday. So that's a couple decent teams typically for volleyball.
Sure.
So we'll see.
The girls golf at Richmond Monday.
Supposed to be today. As of now, they're still
And
on.
JV football.
JV football is off because we have enough injuries that we don't have enough kids to fill the JV squad at this time.
Okay.
Based on the injuries at the varsity level, some of the kids that play playing
Sure.
JV are getting in and they don't have quarters. So we're kind of in that catch-22 right now. So hopefully that'll get fixed here in the next week or so.
What's the limit on playing? I know you've told us earlier how many
But it
quarters.
just depends on how many quarters you play in the varsity game. But the lower level kids can get 6, depending on how many they play in the first. If they play 3, typically nobody will play them 3 and 3. If you get 3, you're usually out. If you get 2, you can still play 4 in the JV game. So, and the field or the special teams don't count against your quarters. So kickoff and kickoff return, they don't count against you. So
Complicated, as Sam says.
it gets worse every year as far as what the rules are.
It seems to be. And the volleyball team will be at Newcastle on Tuesday.
Yeah, so let's hope we can go up there and beat the Lady Trojans.
And the boys tennis will be home to South Dearborn. Can they come? South Dearborn, are they okay?
As far as I know, they're good. So hopefully the weather's cooperative tomorrow. And
You're asking an awful lot.
Yeah, we'll just ask Denny the Doppler, the radar guy, whoever that is,
And volleyball at Union County for the girls on Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
Okay.
Kind of light week at home. Everything seems to be on the road this week. So
And the boys tennis invites Greensburg to come and play.
they're not coming because they're out. So
Okay, and they're out for how long, do you know?
2 weeks, this week and next week. So
Boy, what are their ADs going to do?
yeah, I don't know. I'll see Stacy Sunday, but I don't know what he's going to do. So
You don't envy his job, though, huh? Right
no,
now.
it's not fun when you're trying to reschedule conference games and get everybody squeezed into your schedule without losing anybody that you don't
Sure.
play in the
And
conference.
East Central will come to Connersville for soccer, girls soccer.
East Central will be here Thursday. We'll start with the varsity match
Are
at
they okay
5:30.
as far as you know?
And I talked to Don today. So far, he's good, but we were talking about the golf conference today.
Well, that's
but
good. And the boys soccer will be at Wapahani on Thursday.
Going to play the Raiders.
Where's that at?
Selma, Indiana, straight east of Muncie on 32, just
Oh,
off of
okay.
32. So, varsity contest.
Do we play Wapahani in any other sports?
Nope,
Okay.
just that one.
What's their nickname? What's their mascot?
The Raiders.
Raiders? Are they fairly good school?
They're up and down in sports. They're good at volleyball. They're a typical Delaware County school with
Okay.
volleyball ties. So they've been in the finals the last 2 years. So that seems to be their big sport, which seems like every school in Delaware County is volleyball. So,
Yeah.
They're a small school, aren't they?
yeah, they're a 2A school.
Okay. And on Friday night, it'll be Scottsburg.
Scottsburg coming to Connersville, so that's a good thing
The
for us.
Scottsburg what?
Warriors.
They're Warriors?
We've played them in other sports.
I think
we played the girls basketball. Haven't they been at when we used to go to the Rumble? And
They were at the Rumble, and then they came up here one year either to play baseball or softball, and we had a
Softball, maybe.
cancellation, and they were looking for a game, so they said they would drive up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good. Saturday, got a lot of scheduling. JV at Greensburg. Greensburg's out.
Greensburg's out.
So cross Greensburg off
Cross
everything.
Greensburg off everything for the next 2
Okay.
weeks.
Cross country, are they okay?
Going to Rushville to the invite.
Okay.
As of now, we're good.
That's good, but that could change.
Could change.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of teams at Rushville,
A
so
lot of
hopefully there's
changes,
enough
a lot
them
of
that we can
changes.
go.
Boys soccer will be in action at South Dearborn, maybe?
Yeah, and I think boys soccer, they just got enough to have a full JV squad at South Dearborn, so it should be both a varsity and a JV contest down there. So
good.
Subject to change too, I suppose.
it was subject to change early because he didn't have enough kids with practices in, so he texted us the other day and said, hey, I got enough for JV squad now, so we'll see.
Okay, there's an invite at Rushville for the volleyball team?
Yeah, and I talked to Melissa today about it, and we're playing Centerville at 10:15, but somebody pulled out on her, so Edinburgh pulled out on her, so she's looking for a team today to find out who that fourth team's going to be. So it's always in change.
You guys, UAD's really burning up the phone lines there.
Must be.
Probably more than we need to sometimes, but you just, you're always checking on something or something's changed or, you think you have everything straight, but you don't know what's going on in their school and things go awry, and then that affects the trickle-down effect to everybody coming. So.
But your fellow ADs, you guys can all feel each other's pain now, I suppose.
Well, I think we all know we're in that same boat rowing, and so we always are trying to help each other out and look out for each other when we see something coming down the pipe. And it's just like Don today is like, oh, I didn't even think about girls' golf conference when they said they couldn't play their football games for the next Fridays. Now you forget that you got tennis and volleyball, and and they're going to miss 10 days of school for sure. So they're going to fall in that 8 to 14 day window. And for football, it works out right because you can come back on Monday, you get your 4 days of practice in Friday, but then you got tennis and volleyball and cross country that's got meets up prior to that. They aren't
Starts
going to
on
get their
Monday,
4
yeah.
games back in. So for those 3
it'd be
sports, it
off
could
3
be
weeks.
3 weeks almost. And that's not good
too
for their
bad.
kids. So.
Too bad, yeah.
Here are the area teams you might review. 1-1 is the record for Richmond. They lost to Shelbyville in their second ball game.
That breaks Shelbyville's long losing streak, and they have a. And then
Seems like it. That
years.
game was at Shelbyville, and there were two of the big Red Devil buses coming through Connersville Friday afternoon, headed to Shelbyville. I don't know if I would have gone that way from Richmond, but anyway.
I don't know if I'd want to get on 70 though right now either.
Well, I was thinking 40.
It could be.
But yeah.
Rushville is 0-2. They lost their second ball game of the season. They lost to Newcastle. Their game great. Cambridge City is 0-2. They have lost, and Union County is 1-1. One of their wins was over Cambridge City. Centerville is 1-0. They will not play again scheduled for a week from this Friday and they had last Friday off. Franklin County is 2-0 after their win over Connorsville. So teams are doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be up and down, and the TEC's going to play each other enough. So, and I know Tri-High was looking for a game, so Cambridge City bailed out on them this coming week. And I don't know if that's number related. Last I heard, they only had 11 kids, so I can't say that
Can't
for
play
sure.
with 11
It's
kids.
hard when you've got anybody hurt or whatever, and so it's just football's kind of down everywhere. I mean, it's number-wise, and I don't know what that. It's not unique to us. It's common everywhere.
Well, it may be that other football that's taking kids away.
Well, I'm sure soccer has taken away some that would have played, and there's also a push to put lacrosse in, and that's a fall sport. And that just
That's
is another.
yeah.
That would be another one.
And lacrosse players would be maybe the kind of kids you'd want on a football team.
Typically, they can be. I know my niece plays lacrosse in St. Louis, so. But different sport.
Is lacrosse a local sport? For
No, I mean there's some schools in the Indy area and up in the north, and
Okay.
they're club sports right now. There's not enough schools in the state that have them because it's a different field. Everything's different than what we typically have.
I like hockey. Or
Yeah, Minnesota actually has high school hockey, so imagine that. So where you went your rank time at, and who do you get in, and all those things. So, but Kentucky has bass fishing for a high school sport. So
Will we ever have bowling? I know it's a club sport right now, and
I don't know. I can't say if we will. We won't. There's enough schools in the state that have bowling to become a IHSA sport. I think, from what I gathered from the current commissioner and the former commissioner, is the differences is in the proprietors of the bowling alleys not wanting to give up their leagues in the wintertime. Because bowling's been a winter sport, and in order to participate in IHSA, you can't be on another team during the time you're in your season. Well, when does everybody seem to bowl? Most of the leagues are in the wintertime. So, that's a catch-22 for the bowling alley, because then you give up your high school leagues or your youth leagues because now they can't play because they're in high school sports,
Yeah,
and then
and
it
they
takes
would like-
money out of your pocket.
they would like to have that feeder into their adult leagues,
Right.
and the interest in that.
So I think there's enough schools in the state for sure that have it, but I just don't know. And as Commissioner Cox used to say, I don't know anybody that has their own bowling alley out their high school yet.
No.
So we'll see.
Some
Girls
communities
wrestling's a
don't even
push.
have
And
them, so.
there's a little push for boys volleyball coming, and there's some conferences that don't have football, so they have a volleyball
When would
league.
that be played? Spring? Boys
I
volleyball?
don't know. Probably in the same. But the problem is if you put a boys sport in, and what girls sport do you have to put in to go along with it? And same if you put wrestling, because there's a big push for girls wrestling to have their own tournament. There's probably close to 500 girls in the state wrestling already. So, but if you put in a girl sport, then you got to figure out what boy sport you're going to put in so you have equal amount of sports. So there's a little thing. So who knows what will happen 10 years from now? All things could change. I mean, we might even have co-ed teams by then. Who knows?
Right.
So,
is archery an up-and-coming sport?
but we have it as a club, just like bowling. And I don't know how many schools in the state actually have an archery team, so I can't answer that one.
I
But
think
there's
that's- archery's co-ed, I think.
Yeah, it's co-ed, and there's an emerging sport thing at the IHSA so that you can apply to have your sport considered. And if you get so many schools in the state to opt it, you can test it out. But there's got to be so many in the north and so many in the middle and so many in the south. It can't just be dominated by the Indy area. Like take lacrosse, most of the teams in that area that play lacrosse are in the Indy area, so you can't get lacrosse in because there's not an equal spread across the state.
You miss being on the IHSA board?
No, it's a lot of time, a lot of good things with a lot of good people. Gets the Connorsville name out there, and it's on all their programs, and
Sure.
you get to hand out the awards at the state meets, and of course we still have Rudy on there as the student
Yes.
advisory committee. Rudy was at a meeting this Sunday. I saw a picture of him being tweeted out by Assistant Commissioner Schludecker, and I actually saw him and Olivia Yeager from Rushville, who's on there. So they were both in the same picture at the same time, so that was pretty good. So it's nice to have two people from the conference as kids on there. And then of course Tom Black, the principal at East Central, took my spot, so we have 3 representations of the EIC in that group between board members and student advisory committees, kids. So
That's Rudy Brandstetter you're speaking
Rudy
of. who
Brandstetter is
represents
on there, yep.
Connorsville in the board. That's great.
this is his last year. This is his senior year, so we'll put somebody up to try to fill his spot if we can get lucky and they get an interview and we get the right kid.
Sure.
Maybe we'll get the next one on there.
It's a great honor, I know.
Well, there's a lot of connections they make. Olivia McMillan was our first one about, I don't know, probably been 8 years or so ago now, but she's the first one we had on there. Then Rudy got on, and we've had others get to the finals. Evan Schaefer got to the interview process 3 years ago, but didn't get chosen as one of the top 9. And then Rudy got in the next year. And
Yeah.
so we always put somebody up when we can. We didn't obviously put anybody up last year because we already had one on there, and they're going to give us 2.
Based on academics and
Academics, extracurriculars, things you do, volunteer work, organizations you do in and out of school, leadership roles. You have to be a rising junior, so if there's any sophomores that are interested that want to look at it, they can come and see me at the athletic office. And
requires a pretty good student, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. And Rudy's an excellent pick. Just
Yes.
All around fine young man.
I don't think any of probably the 27 or so that I've gotten to know over the last 3 years, they're all great kids. They're
Yes.
all leaders. They're all polite, respectful, have great ideas. We've had
Come
some
from
that
good
designs
homes,
their own.
don't you think?
Yeah, we've had some
I
that
think
have their
that's
own
pretty
clothing
obvious.
line. We have some that have started their own non-profit organization. So they're in charge of lots of different things. And they try to give them more and more every year to make their role a little bit bigger and a little bit
Sure.
better.
It's a great honor.
This year was supposed to have been a year for reclassification. That's been put off because of the pandemic. Will that happen next year, or will
It's
it be
supposed to happen at the end of this year.
at the end of this year? Okay.
They'll take last year's records and this year, because everybody had a season last year. We've had a season here. The year before, the problem was boys basketball didn't finish out, and none of the spring sports would have enough, so they didn't think it was fair to just base it off first 2, or use the previous year or the same year twice or whatever. So, and then they'll have to do a little bit tweaking because, well, I'll just take Bar Reeve, for instance, who has to bump up in volleyball again. They're actually a single A school, but they've won like 2 or 3 state titles in a row, or 2 out of the last 3 whatever. So they're actually up into 3A in volleyball. And how do you base their success factor off 1 year in 2A and 1 year in 3A? So there'll be about 8 to 10 schools that fall in that category. Football, Pioneers up. Will they drop back down? So we'll see.
I still have a problem with that success factor, because you could graduate your
right.
whole team and be starting over.
Well, we've
But
had a lot of discussion.
Be penalized for that.
And you have to at least get so many points to stay up, which is 2 or 1 to stay up. You got to win a sectional. But if you've been bumped up and you're still winning the sectional, you're still pretty good. You may not win the state, but typically if you can go up a level and still win your sectional at a different level, you're still pretty solid. So, but some of that is just carryover from maybe the leftovers of teams ahead of you. So, and there's a push to maybe go to 5 classes based on just enrollment
5 classes.
across the board, besides football.
Is that in
Football's
basketball?
not going to come every class,
In 5 in basketball.
everything, except for football,
Well, but then you've got some sports where you only have 3 classes now, right?
soccer.
Soccer, okay.
So I'm sure there'd have to be some tweaking, but it would be based off of enrollment, so it may not be as many. So it'd be like 2,000 up is like 5A, and 1,500 to 1999 is 4A, and 1,000 to 1499 is 3A. 5 to 999 is 2, and then below that would be 1. And it doesn't matter what your enrollment is, that's just class isn't based off strictly enrollment of your school. So we'll see if that ever gets any traction and takes off.
That would limit in a tournament number of games maybe. I mean, now what do we have in semi-state is 1 game. Is that right?
Well, there's been,
And
there's been some talk about that one too.
Regional, you would play 2 games to win a regional. So
There's been a lot of talk about 1-game regionals and 2-game semi-states.
yeah, but if you add a class in there,
True.
then the pool is
Smaller.
split up.
Differently. Don't know if it'd be smaller, but you split
Because
differently.
like in football now with in 6A, they have a bye week.
Correct. But in order to do that, you got to they try to get 96 in each of the other classes right now. So, but that would change as well. So
Brent, as always, thanks for bringing all your information to us, and
hopefully it's educational.
we enjoy listening to you, and all we can say is hope you have a quiet week, and
It's always a good thing. I hope the phone doesn't ring, or if it rings, it's for the
hopefully
right
we'll take the
reasons.
phone off the hook, and that'll take care of that. Brent Duncan joining us here on the Spartan Sports Report. Thanks, everybody, for watching here on TV3.